What's going on? I am AnokhiTheOne. This is Red Pill Radio. And in this episode, I will be talking about my thoughts about Kehlani and Kiara Russel and the war on love. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is a bit of clickbait because the only thing I'm going to say about Kiara and Kehlani is that basketball studs, we up 20 points. That's all I gotta say. We up 20,000 points. I'm not even hating. Anyways, but I did want to clickbait you guys in here so we can talk about love. So we can talk about the war on love, right? And so I don't even know how long this is gonna be or what I'm even gonna talk about fully. But I've been wanting to talk about this for a while now. And it's just like, I feel like we're in this weird world. It's just like, as far as social media, where it's just so, love has become this taboo thing. Like, if you ever listen to podcasts about dating and relationships, they almost never talk about love. Like, I mean, it's like they'll talk about, who's making six figures, if a woman is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a 10. They'll talk about, what is that thing? The glass ceiling or whatever, the age that women reach where somehow they're no longer desirable. They'll talk about all kinds of different like surface level things. And it's just so unfulfilling. It's just, even in the dating space, like dating, I've always hated dating. I've never ever liked it. It's always been weird to me. It's just weird. Like it's just weird because it's like you're in this artificial, you put yourself in this artificial environment, and as it, when it happens inorganically, I'll say, like when it's like you go to the club or something, or like you're meeting somebody off Tinder or something, or I don't know, it's never been my thing. And I just don't, I don't get it. Some people enjoy it. I just never have. I never have. It's always been kind of weird to me. It's always been really weird. And it's just like, especially when I'm not even able to get out my words. I don't even know. But it just a lot of times stuff seems so forced and surface and devoid of like substance a lot of times. And it's like it's taboo for there to be substance. People are so scared. People are so terrified of feeling something. And to me, I'm not attracted. I can't force myself to be attracted to somebody where there's no feeling. You feel me? It's just, if I don't have no feelings or nothing that's happening, it's just, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm just like, I'm really cutthroat. I'm really like, I'm not going to say I'm cutthroat, but, and I don't want to be labeled. I try to explain this to somebody. Talk about, oh, well, you're sapiosexual, you're asexual, you're sipiosexual. Bitch, I'm me. I don't have time for none of that. Okay, I don't need to be diagnosed in this piece. But for me, like, I take love very seriously. I take romantic relationships very seriously. From doing like my genealogy, not even just doing my genealogy, but just from really listening to my parents' story, my grandparents' story, like, taking a real interest in, my people, where I came from. Some of y'all don't even really know y'all grandparents' story like that, or even your parents' story. And I come from a line of soulmate relationships, deep soulmate relationships. I 100% know my mom and dad were soulmates. And so, to see what that looks like growing up, and I feel like that might also be a part of why I feel so out of place in society when it comes to dating and relationships and stuff like that, because my mom and dad were like, they were high school sweethearts. They were each other's like first real boyfriend and girlfriend, and they were together until my dad died. And so they grew up together. So it's like knowing their story and knowing the kind of love, like undying love that they have for each other, even though it was difficult. It wasn't all like the movies, right? It wasn't like a romantic movie. It was actually kind of tragic because my dad ended up getting sick or whatever. But to see what unconditional love looks like on both ends, it's just, when I look around, I just be like, no, 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 no. Because it just be like, all like, when I tell you all the dating advice, all the podcast stuff I hear about high value this, high value, all of that is out the window. And none of it adds up. It's all hypothetical bullshit. It's all just a bunch of surface level bullshit. And the people who, like, it's like they're trying to do math equations to figure out how the two people gonna come together, and that's bullshit. Love ain't no damn math equation. That's just like you being a music artist, and you think the way to be a really good music artist is to know the mathematical equation between A and upper C and all this other bullshit. Your music gonna come out sounding like straight ass. Straight ass. You think you can become an expert at music theory, and then that's it, and you ain't learning no other component other stuff, and then you think you about to make some music, and it's gonna sound like straight ass. And that's what it seems. That's what I think. That's a good, well, unless y'all don't know about music theory, but trying to do the mathematics of tones and music, and thinking that that's gonna allow you to create beautiful, amazing music, it's gonna come out sounding like ass. I know people that are like that, and their music sounds like ass. You see what I'm saying? And so when you try to do these mathematical equations when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, then people want to be, then it's okay, you know what? I don't want to have a love relationship. We're just going to call it something else. We're going to situationship. We're dating exclusively. We're partners. We're life partners. All this other weird shit. Okay? And so I don't want that. I don't want that. I want no damn partner. If I want a damn partner, okay, I can get a partner anywhere. I can get a business partner. I can get a gym partner. I can get a music partner. I don't want no damn life partner like that. But yeah, of course you in love, but you want to be partners in life. Yeah, I get that part, but I want to be in love with a mother. Is that so weird? Like, I don't be hearing people on podcasts and these dating, when they talk about love, well, they don't talk about love. When they talk about relationships and dating, out there on the socials, they do not talk about love. It's like a taboo. Like, if somebody utters the word love, oh, it's just a fleeting emotion. It's not real. It's a figment. Especially men, especially guys, especially on that red pill stuff. They be like, it's in your imagination. It's not real. It's just blah blah blah. I'm like, okay. I just like, what's wrong with y'all? Like that. It's like, I'm talking, and to me, I think music definitely plays a big part. People always want to talk about how music doesn't your parents raised you and music doesn't do this and that. Music, some people's parents doesn't raise them, right? A lot of y'all raised by music, a lot of y'all raised by movies and entertainment, and all of us are kind of raised by that stuff. And especially if you don't have strong parental influence, right? And so it's just it's just weird. And so the way I love and the way I aspire to be loved and have this whole thing is just, it's like crazy to me. It's like crazy when you actually love someone and you want to be in love and you want to express that. Like back in the day, like mom told me my dad used to be sending her love letters and all kind of singing to her in her ear and all this. Like, they ain't doing that no more. People are not doing that. One of her, just recently, one of my mom's friends was my mom told her to tell me a story about my dad and how they were walking and they used to be dressed to the nines and tens, okay? And they were at this ball or something like that, and my mom was walking in front of my dad with her friend, and I guess this guy didn't know that my dad and my mom was together or whatever, and he grabbed her arm, and my dad went pop and like slapped the man super hard and was just staring at him and wished he would say or do anything. And my mom was telling me about how her friend was just dying laughing and never let go of that story, would tell that story over and over again. But that friend, she was like, your daddy would have drank your mama bath water. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, he loved your mama. And so, like, to have that experience, and then also not even just hearing old stories, but to experience, to know, like, good and bad, because who is calling me? Because it wasn't all peaches and cream. They argued hardcore sometimes. Sometimes they had some serious disagreements, and my dad, he was a little thrown off. I'm not gonna lie to you, but when it came to taking care of his family and loving his family, I never experienced a feeling of my dad not wanting to be my dad or something. Like, I could not imagine him not being in my life, like him just not wanting me and my sister or my mom or whatever. Like, I just never experienced. I just don't even know what that feels like. And so, and I was able to experience a masculine love, right? And so I am more masculine, and I'm a lot like my dad. I'm just like my dad. And so me having a masculine love, right? Because it's different than a feminine love and a masculine love. They're different, right? Obviously, you can imagine. And I've never even articulated that before. I've never heard that articulated, but the masculine love, I mean, people talk about it, but they don't talk about it in regards to love a lot of times. They say masculinity or whatever, but a masculine love, a good one, right? A like divine masculine love is very very protected, but also it's balanced. It's balanced with the feminine and the masculine energy, because in order to, like, love is more, people know of it as more a feminine trait or whatever, but I don't necessarily think it's a feminine trait, but it is more feminine, right? And so a masculine love oftentimes articulates itself in, protection, but it's not like the traditional protection where you're always fighting or whatever. Sometimes it's just an energy, right? Sometimes it's just a energy of protection. Like, growing up, I didn't feel like I couldn't imagine anybody talking to me crazy, doing nothing crazy to me, like that, especially while my dad was, not, before he got sick. Let somebody say anything, or let me have to run back to my dad and be like, look, this person did this to me. Oh, hell no. They would have been dead. They would have died. I can't even imagine it. I can't even imagine it, really. I can't imagine it. And so it's like that protection, in protective energy, was deep. And then also just being present, being there. Like, I don't know if I'm not necessarily saying that's a masculine thing, but like knowing what your priorities are, being there, handling your responsibilities because you care about who you are with, right? And like working as a team to take care of your damn family and take care of your people, right? Like, my mom and my dad, I never seen my mom and dad arguing about who needs to pick up the kids, who needs to cook or clean. Who needs to cut the grass, blah, blah. I never seen them argue about that. And it's because they understood the assignment. Right? And they worked together on life and on raising their children and on making sure, we understood. Like, my dad was big on teaching. And to me, I feel like that's a big part of masculine love, which I don't really hear too many people talk about. It's just weird. Like, when a man has nothing but girls, this is in ancient times. When you have a girl dad, they are going to want their daughters to be independent. Why? Because why would a man want their daughters to be dependent on another man? Come on. Like, that makes no sense. And it's so weird how like so many like red pill people and all these people want to make it seem like, women who grow up without a father are so independent because they didn't have a father. But bitch, I'm independent because I did. My daddy he wanted me to be independent. He made sure. Why would he want me to be dependent? Right? And so that's a part of survival, and you should want to be independent as a functioning human being. And that's the other part of this whole weird dynamic of where people are talking about roles and all this other stuff, like, and really downing women for being independent, or like women. It's really a double-edged sword for women. I think it's really a double-edged sword for both sides, but really it is a double-edged sword for women, because on one hand, you don't want women to be independent, and then on the other hand, if they are dependent, then they are just gold diggers, and they're just waiting on some man to save them. I'm not saving these hoes. But then at the same time, if they're independent, I don't want no independent woman. What you need me for? Get it together, people. Get it together, right? Get it together. And so that's a whole nother weird thing, with lesbians. We don't really deal with that as much because we have understanding we're both women, and those roles are not as clearly defined, which they still kind of are. A lot of times the masculine ends up taking on the masculine role, but at the same time, there's still a lot of leniency. But and the house I grew up with, it wasn't really that deep. The roles wasn't that deep. The roles was dependent on what needs to be done. It ain't even no role. It's what is the task at hand? Okay, whose hands are available? Okay, do it. Okay. Whether it was, and even us as kids, we were doing stuff early on. Like I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old working in the hair salon and, doing things like starting to wash dishes, cook and clean when you're young. Why? I remember being fully independent as a child and then going to uh I'm not gonna say as a child, when like 5 or 6. I was like I would say like 6, 7, 8. Right? I can cook, I could clean, I could, wash my ass. What the hell? And then I remember I remember going to my grandpa's house and they still trying to. They used to be washing like the kids. I'm like, "Man, I'm not. You ain't about to wash my ass. I know how to wash my ass. I'm 7 years old. I'm 8 years old." And the same thing. I'm. Can I cook my own meal? I'm ready to cook. I can cook. Right. I'm trying to cut grass. I'm trying to do it. Like they raised us to be independent, and to me, that's love. Like when you're in a relationship, and same thing with my dad. He taught my mom how to drive. He taught my mom a lot of things, like how to do things around the house. Largely they ended up raising each other, really, because they both grew up in households where, they didn't have both parents or in the home, or it was just a situation where it was just like kind of every man for themselves. They kind of having to raise themselves somewhat, a little bit, a lot. So they they met each other as kids pretty much, and they really raised themselves. And so as they're raising themselves, they raising us. I mean, they was only like 24, 25. So I'm 31 already. I mean, wow, I can't imagine having, a 10-year-old or something. Well, really I would be like 7 or something like that, 8 years old, whatever. But they were raising us, they raised each other largely, right? And so, but I feel like because my dad wanted us to be taken care of, a part of taking care of someone is if you know something, if you can help them in some kind of way, and if you can teach them, if you can better them, if you can help them heal, then that's love, right? There's a lot of, if you listen to the music and all kind of stuff today, it's just like, I be listening to trap music or whatever when I'm working out. I usually don't, but I've been working out more. And the stuff they be saying, I just be like, I mean, I think I heard somebody say something about, if they find out we fucking, it's over. It's just like all this like toxic. I just be listening and just be like, oh shit. The next generation is fucked. Okay, that's got me in trouble. I gotta slow down the cuss words. I usually don't cuss that much. I don't know why I've been cussing in these podcasts or whatever, but I just be listening to it and I just be like, on both ends, like, with the women be saying and with the men be saying, I just be like, so toxic. It's gross. It makes me feel disgusting inside. I'm gonna just be completely honest. Like I think I want to actually like just listen to some of the music and just dissect it line by line, because people don't understand how powerful music is to your subconscious mind. It's probably one of the most powerful between, movies and music. Those are probably the most powerful ways to program or reprogram your subconscious mind, right? And so if your subconscious mind is constantly allowing messages in that's talking about, if he broke, it broke, then you gotta let him go all day. And not to say there's anything wrong with having certain kind of standards or whatever, but if there's no level of love, there's no energy of love, I remember growing up listening to NDRE. I'm talking, listening to Maxwell, D'Angelo, okay, Luther Vandross, okay, Prince, Michael Jackson, Okay, and so, and Al Green, I mean, and even like Aaliyah, even the 2000s, R&B and love songs. I mean, some of the love songs Nelly, Ludacris was on. I mean, at least they had some semblance of something, Lord. And there are some sectors of R&B, like R&B, there are some sectors that I'm, happy about. But the damn trap music is just be depressing. And not only that, but to see it regurgitated and to see it in the dating world where it's just like people are so scary. It's weak to me. It's honestly, it's weak. I've never heard anybody really articulate the severe trust issues of our generation as weak, and like this whole mindset of touch and go relationships, and fuck your ex, blah blah blah. It's just weak to me. It's just weak to me. Like, and I've never understood that whole, all this deep seated hatred for people's exes. I've never really understood that either. Like, I get if you had, you know, I'm getting into all kind of some shit. I don't even know where I'm going. I'm getting into some shit right now. But I've never really got understood like how it's so socially acceptable for people to be so disrespectful about their exes, even their baby mamas, baby daddies, ex-husbands, stuff like that. And I can understand if you're in an abusive relationship, they betrayed you, all these different things. I understand the hurt and the pain, of course. But you was with them for years. Like, come on, stop. You have to, if you're with somebody for years and you was in that deeper relationship and did you not love them? Because people be acting like they just hate their exes' guts to the core. I'm just like, well, how the hell were you with them so long? Is there there got to be something that you like about them? You was there for how many years? And then, you have kids with them. And, well, damn, that's your children's parents. You chose that. That's what you chose, straight people. That's what you chose to do with yourself. You chose your child's parents, you straight folks. All right. Um, y'all getting into some stuff. Y'all swear up and down that y'all got the superior sexuality, but y'all stay out here trying to have non-procreative sex out here like us gays do naturally, right? And then you end up having a child with somebody that you either it was a mistake or you was with them, you knew it was going on, and then now it didn't work out, and now you want to be talking all crazy about your damn child parent, but that's you chose. So that's what you gotta live with. So you might as well just make peace with that. I know a lot of y'all looked mad at me right now, but it's true for me. Like, and that's where, like, I talked about in one of my last podcasts, where I talked about in the book The Richest Man in Babylon, where it talks about the luckiest man in Babylon, talking about work, and don't mind the people who didn't appreciate your work, because doing good work and doing hard work is good for the person, right? It's good for you, right? Even if that person didn't appreciate what you were bringing to the table, it's still like doing the work is good for you. And that's how I feel about love, the work of love, doing the work of love. Like, people make it seem like if you actually have the courage, and that's what it is, like having the courage to actually love someone for real, and putting yourself out there, putting your heart on the line, and even if that person didn't appreciate it, even if they betrayed you or whatever the case may be, the solution, I don't believe, like the other person in that scenario, I mean, if y'all didn't hear the whole story, but he pretty much asked a couple people to help him figure out how to get out of slavery. And one person told him to, the way you survive this thing is to pretend like, you working real hard, but really you half-assing it so you don't break your back, right? And to me, that can be translated in work, but it could also be translated in love, because like you half-ass in love, right? So you don't get your heart broken. And that's what a lot of, it's just wow. Because it's like our generation, we're half-assing our work, right? Because we see all these people on social media. It seems like they're just overnight successes, and they just quit your job. You can't have anybody telling you anything to do, and blah, blah, blah. It's like we're half-assing everything because we're afraid of what would happen if we gave our all, right? Whether it comes to, in our work life, in our careers, and also in our relationships and in our love, right? We're afraid that, if I give my all to this relationship, I'm going to end up getting played, or they're going to play me, or I'm going to end up looking stupid, I'm going to end up feeling stupid, and all this. Same thing with life, right? But at the end of the day, if you do the work of love and you give good love, that is good for you. And that's what the other person he gave good advice to. He said, find you a good person to work for, right? Find you somebody good to work for, and then do good work, right? And so when it comes to love, find you somebody, right, who is good to love and give good love, right? And even if you find someone and they don't appreciate your love, then it still doesn't make sense to do half-ass work, because doing the work of love is good for you, right? It's making you a better person. It's helping you build the character. So when you do find somebody that truly is good, that truly is a match for you when it comes to love, you would have already been practicing. You've already been, well, I guess you was just practice, right? But if you're doing half-ass practice, right? You doing half-ass practice, and then you half-ass in the scrimmages, you half-ass in the games because you feel like this team is weak as hell, right? And then you get scouts coming in. Scouts come, they ain't looking at you because you've been half-assing, right? If a scout comes to a trash basketball team, right? Scout comes to and sees some trash basketball players play. I mean, I'm not gonna say players, but the team might be trash. If they see somebody in there going hard, doing their best, right? They may send for them because they see this person has potential. I could see that they've been putting the work in, and if they get in the right environment, and that goes into planting your seed in fertile soil, knowing how to plant your seed in fertile soil. So when it comes to love, right, people are so afraid to, and people don't want to take accountability. This goes on both sides, right? Men are steady complaining about how women didn't betray them and blah blah blah, and when women do the same thing, and men more so than women, men are quick to say, well, you just picked the wrong dude, you just picked the wrong guy, right? And so it's important to know how to pick them. But if you ain't them, then how you gonna pick them? If you're not practicing on how to be a good lover, if you're not focused on, if you want a good love and you're not focused on being a good lover, right? If you want to be in the NBA and you're not focused on being a good basketball player, right? How the hell you gonna get in the NBA? I'm talking about NFL. How the hell you gonna get in the NBA and you're not focused on being a good basketball player? How the heck you think that's gonna work? It's not gonna work, right? There's only a few people who ever get into the NBA. Same thing with a love life. There's only a few people who ever truly have a good love life, but you have to think about it. Most people, it may not be because a good love life is not possible. You got to think about, what are most people doing when it comes to love? Okay, most people are not focused on having a good love life. Most people are not focused on becoming a good lover. If anything, there's a lot of people focused on trying to find a good lover, right? But just like in the NBA, you can find the NBA. You can find an NBA team. You can look them all up. But bitch, if you ain't a good player, you just gonna be in the stands watching. You can get a ticket. Anybody can get a ticket to watch the show. Anybody. You got $40, $50. You can get a ticket to watch an NBA basketball show, but you're not going to be on the team. Okay, you're not going to be on the team. All right, you have to actually be a good player. Okay, I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but that's what it is. And books like this, right? The Laws of Love. I've been studying, different books like that. I've even, had a mentor, this lady who I ended up striking up a conversation in Starbucks. I've met some good people having a conversation in coffee shops, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't even remember how it started, but some kind of way she ended up telling me about, how her and her husband, they be flying different places or whatever, and she's older. And her and her husband had been together since they were teenagers, and they still happy, jolly, and having a good, strong relationship. And I just thought that was beautiful. And I'm like, okay, what are y'all like? I just started interviewing her, and like most people, they don't even think to do things like that. If that's what you want, if you want to have a solid, strong relationship that lasts a really long time, why not listen to people that have that? Why not read books by people that have that, right? And try to do the things that those people have done, right? And focus on the things that they focus on, right? Like model success. And so I think that and then when it comes to like, I don't know what it is with me. I like to be an overachiever with everything. And like people don't understand like my movements because I don't be wanting to have what most people have. I just like I remember when I first came out, and just for most of my life I've been single like 99.9% of my life. Okay? 99.9.5% of my life I've been single. And since I've been a teenager, people have looked at me like I'm crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what? And to the point where people have, especially when I came out, because at first people were like, oh, yeah, it's because she's actually gay, right? And after I came out, and I still wasn't super bent on, being in a relationship. And I did try to, like, date and be out there, whatever, experience the world of the gays, which is a weird world. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm really just a regular person. I just realized I'm just regular. I'm not even regular, really. I'm in my own world anyway. So to be in this other weird world, I was just like, okay, this is not for me. Okay, but I've been very focused on what I want, and it's very specific. I mean, it's like I want something deep. I want real love. Like I want real love. I don't want just no relationship. I could have been had a relationship. Then people make it seem. I remember after I came out, people were trying to make it seem like I just couldn't get with a girl or something, or I really have no game, right? But I think I'm okay. Even though I have no game. Like, I have no game, but it's okay. Okay? If I want to, be in a relationship, if I just want to be in a relationship, it can happen. And also like I think for real relationships, There is no games, right? And I thought about, like, out of all the things I can be getting good at, I could be getting good. Like, that's something I can really be getting good at. Like, it's not that deep. Like, all the books I read, right? But one of my favorite books on the subject is called Models Attracting Women Through Honesty, right? And it's really about, because game, like having game and what a lot of the games are about, it's, and I even watched Think Like a Man. I think it just came on Netflix, right? And of course it was an advertisement for the book, so at the end of the movie it was like, oh, the games, the resolution is pretty much, the games work, it helped you to actually have a real relationship, and they actually fell in love for real. But a lot of times, like, you play games, you gonna get played, right? But what the games ultimately are, if you actually, think about it, look at it, it's um it's ways to manipulate what humans, right, what a healthy, it's like it's a manipulative version of what a healthy relationship would look like, or what a healthy attraction would look like, right? Or, a healthy masculine feminine dynamic would be. But it's manipulating it, it's pretending, right? It's a game, it's playing, high value and this and that and whatever, right? And investment levels, right? But if you truly invest in yourself, right, which is why I like that book, because it breaks down, like, attracting women with honesty, like actually being that being that way, being that person and not pretending, right? And focusing on yourself and developing yourself to where you just are attractive because you really poured into yourself, you really work on yourself, like, not pretending to be busy, like actually being busy. Like, if you have a life where you're doing a lot of things, and you're you have a full life, and whatever person comes into your life is not becoming your life, that is actually very attractive, right? But it's attractive because that's how it should be. You feel me? It's you should be an independent person, right? But there's also nothing wrong with, like, being all lovey-dovey, being all over each other. So I guess, with the Kehlani and Kiara Russel thing, it is a little bit about that, cuz that's what it looks like they're doing. It looks really beautiful. It's very cute. And there's corny aspects of it where a lot of people, they are too good for that, or they're too cool and whatever. But the women, if you look in the comments, the women love it. Okay, guys, the women love it. But there's nothing wrong with being that way, right? And so yeah, it's just like, for me, I don't want to have to be in a situation or a relationship where I have to pretend like I don't really like. If I like somebody, I don't have to sit there and try to pretend like I don't like her, and all this other stuff, and, like, I just don't have time for that. Like, that's the other part. I just never have really had time to just, like, that's not something. I'm not gonna say I've never had time. We all got time to do things, right? But I have never felt like that was a good use of my time. And if you really think about, and also just think about my life, all the things that I've been able to do, I just think about all the things that I have been able to do in my life, and even skills, like just reading books, achievements, whatever the case may be. I can't fathom how I would have been able to do all those things if I were to be like the people who used to be tugging down on me because they in and out of relationships and never single, right? And I wouldn't have time. I would not have had time to be learning these skills, learn how to edit videos, shoot the videos, the audio, reading all these books, learning all the skills that I have, building the businesses that I built. I wouldn't have that time. I wouldn't have had that time to do that, right? And people, it's like, me constantly pouring to myself. I remember when I was younger, like, I was drawing. I've always been to myself in like a skill builder, right? And I remember people be like, man, you really have a lot of time on your hands. And like, that's some kind of insult because I would be getting good at stuff. I was just like, bitch, we all got the same amount of time. And in the time the time you use it, you sit up here playing video games and shit. I'm up here learning how to draw and edit videos and hi. Right? And that used to make me feel a way. But now that I'm 30 and I have all these skills, and not to brag or whatever, but really, like, I'm 30 something years old. I have all these skills and experience and all this like life that I've lived. And I look at some of these people that used to be teasing me and steady in and out of relationships, never having time to really build these skills, but they may be a master at playing games. Like, to me, the games that a lot of these people be playing, this is me for real. I really don't have time for a lot of these women. I really don't have the patience. I really, if you about the game, I don't. And sometimes I'm like, am I too hard on these women? Am I too picky? Is it, should I, right? And sometimes I try to be real patient. And if I, really do feel something deep, then I'd be trying to be lenient. But then eventually it's just like, I don't have time. I don't want to have time for that. I don't want to have time for that. I don't want to have time for that. Not that I don't have time. I don't want to have time for that. Right? And so it's just like I was saying, a lot of these techniques, like, I remember in the movie, it was like the 90-day rule for the woman or whatever, where, she pretty much would feel like she giving it up too early, and she attracting these guys who just want her for sex or whatever the case may be. So she's like, oh, I'm gonna hold off for 90 days because he gonna value me, right? And to me, that makes no sense, because it's like, why would you need to, like, it's like you go from giving up sex. And this is what a lot of women feel because they listen to hip hop. I'll never forget this time that my cousin, me and my cousin had this conversation, and she was like, well, Wale, I was telling her, like, no, like, guys, they're not going to want to settle down with you if you just giving out too early. Like, they're thinking in their mind, if you give it out too early to these guys, they're thinking you gonna do the same thing with the next guy. And she like, well, Wale said if you don't give it up, then he leaving. I said, girl, Wale is a rapper. I said, first of all, Wale is a rapper. Okay, number one. Second of all, he clearly, if you don't give it up to him, even if he's a real person, if he claiming he ain't gonna, if you don't give it up, he leaving. If you give it up, he's still leaving, bitch. What's it? He's still gonna leave. And then even if he is gonna leave, who gives a goddamn? Who are you? Who are you? It's my body, bitch. Bye bye. Right? Like, that whole, it's warped, because you should want to value your own damn body yourself. Why do you have to do all these games for? Why you have to play for either decision? Giving up your body because you think that that's what he wants, or that's what he values from you, or holding off giving up your body because you think he's gonna value more. Fuck what? I gotta stop cussing. Forget either one. What do you want to do with your body? What is it that you want to do? Right? And then I feel like, and then there's this, the other extreme where, well, I have needs, and women talking like that or whatever. But, yeah, you have needs. But what do you ultimately want? Okay, and this is not me saying whatever, but if you actually think about deep down, do you want a long term relationship? Okay, what is it that you truly want? If you don't want a long term relationship, if you truly just want to have sex with people, okay, that's one thing. But if you deep down inside want to have something stable and long term, okay, for one, you got to be stable within yourself, and that's number one. So then at that point, it really, the time, rules, regardless of whatever it is, it's not going to matter, because it's about what feels right inside of you based on what you want, right? If you meet the person that you feel like you're supposed to be with, right? And you feel that they have the qualities or whatever for the long-term partner or whatever, short, whatever, okay, it may not matter what time you do what, because you're vibrating on the frequency of what you want. We all hear stories of somebody that they met each other, they had a one night stand, and they end up being in a relationship for a long time, right? So it doesn't matter what the time is, but it matters what is it that you truly want, and what are you doing within yourself to become a match to whatever that thing is. For some people it's celibacy, for some people it's not. Just like Megan Good real character, right? Or her her real character. It's interesting. Think about it. That movie came out, way before she ended up in this relationship with this pastor, right? And it's almost like it played out in real life. Think about that. Y'all ever thought about that? That's weird. She ended up in this relationship, and they had a big to do about how they were so celibate, right? Until marriage or something like that. And then, they wrote a book about it and all this other. Now they divorced. Now she back now she back out there, posting thirst traps, right? And so it's just like, that's where it's like being really in tune with who you are and being honest with yourself and attracting people with honesty, whether it's women, men, whatever, being true to who you are, figuring out what that is for you. For me, I'm not, I was gonna say I'm not for the streets. I'm not I'm not about sharing my energy with a lot of different people. That's just period. Whether it's, sexually, even talking to a lot of people. I'm not about to spend my energy and time with a lot of different types of people. So I definitely am not going to be doing that. But that's me. That's my I just I've just never been like that. So and so with women, of course, like, there's a lot of guys that feel like, they have to have this facade where, they're having all these girls and all this other stuff, and that's going to make, girls like them. And, people are always talking about, oh, it's not until you get in a relationship that all the women want you, or women don't want you until they feel like other women want you. And just because other women want you don't mean they have to have you. For like, to me, and I think, with most women, it's infinitely more attractive for a man or somebody to have a lot of women that are attracted to them, and they're not dealing with all of them. They're not sitting up there playing with them. I feel like guys get it wrong, just like how women get it wrong, right? When it comes to like thinking that, oh, he's not gonna take me seriously unless I have sex with him right now and today. I think guys get it twisted where they think that women are gonna think they're punks or whatever. Because guys talk like that, but if they have all these girls that are interested in them, and they don't like, they're not giving all their, they think if they don't sit up there and have sex with all these women, that they're not a man or something. And that starts in childhood. That starts deep seated, weird programming when it comes to men. I'm talking weird. That's where I was just like, even I seen somebody on social media, the daggone baby was 2 months old. I'm talking the little boy was 2 months old. And his daddy already talking about, oh yeah, he giving this girl googly eyes. He giving her googly eyes. I'm like, what? He can barely open his eyes open. His eyelids is barely open. You already trying to sexualize his thoughts? This weird. It's so weird. I need to have a whole podcast just on that. I've been wanting to talk about it. People don't ever talk about it. It's just weird the way they sexualize little boys. Okay? And then they grow up with this weird these mindsets around sex. And they never, like, most people never, it's never checked. People don't think that there's anything strange or weird about, the way they think. And it affects the way they are in relationships. And so people want to talk about how there's this huge divide. There is becoming more and more of a divide because, in the past, men and women were around each other more, right? Like, they had to be around each other in order to survive. They needed each other to survive. Now, men and women don't need each other to survive. They can literally live and be in their own circles, like only go out with other girls, only go to places where there's just women, only go to, especially guys, they can just stay in the house all day. They can just play video games with nothing but guys. They can just go to the gym, play basketball, they can work all day with guys. Very isolated. And then when they are in the room with women or they're around women, they have all these weird things going through their head. And then they get to talking and the women is just like, it's just weird. It just be crazy. And then you have, all these guys telling them, oh, you don't want to be in the friend zone. You want to be in the friend zone. You don't want to. But then you have no experience. You're never around women. You're never around women unless they're your mother or your sister or something. And then you wonder why, when you do get around women, they're ready to run for the hills. Okay? I think that's really bad advice. I think if you actually want to start dating women, like, why not be friends with beautiful women? Beautiful women have beautiful friends. Even if the friend that you might be interested in, she got other friends. And then by being a friend of a woman, you learn about women. You learn what women think, how they move, and what they like. And I'm clearly probably talking to the people like the incels and the people that, are steady on this red pill, just super angry and mad and sexually frustrated at women, right? But nobody can really inform you on, the needs of women, how women think, or all these other things other than just being around women. Be around women. To me, if I was a incel man and I'm really struggling, really want to be in a relationship, right? I would figure out, what do I need to do to get around as many women as possible? Okay? Just women's group. Whenever I've, been like, you know what? I'm really, I'm going to take this date and stuff seriously. The first thing I do, is figure out what kind of women's group can I be a part of. They got some women's entrepreneurship thing. Where are the girls at? Yoga. Arts and crafts. I'm talking, where the women at? Where the women at? And then just figuring out, like, what are some of your interests? Like poetry. The poetry spots, that's where the women's at. I mean, I don't know about other races of women, but I know if you're looking for a beautiful black woman, go and listen to you some poetry. That's where it's at, okay? I'm talking. So, yeah. But I think I'm pretty much done with my TED Talk. This actually went longer than I expected. Um, but yeah, I'm still out here. I mean, ladies, like I said, I've been single for 99.999% of my life. So if y'all ready to step up, man, stop playing. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. That's the problem. I'm not about to play with y'all. I'm not playing with y'all. No more. I'm a high value woman in this bitch now. I'm not playing with y'all. Y'all know I don't care about that stuff, but I mean, I've raised my standards. I'm not playing with the foolishness. I never really was. Like, people talk about people being broke, dusty. I've been dusty. I've been a dusty. But the thing about me, when I'm in dusty mode, I'm not about to be out here trying to date. I'm trying to shake the dust off my shoulders. I'm not about to try to date while I'm dusty. What do I have to bring to the table? I got to make sure I bring, and even, in my dustiness, nobody ever admits that they've ever been dusty. We all been dusty in some kind of way. Okay. Even in my dustiness, I still, I knew I had a lot of value, and I did. I still had a lot to bring to the table. But now, I told myself, look, and early on, like, my philosophy has been, Anokhi the one. I am the one. Focusing on being the one, right? Instead of trying to find someone, right? Because I don't want, it's not like I'm trying to have 50 girlfriends. It's not like I'm trying to have 100 girlfriends in my life. If I could have one and done, if I could be one and done, let's be one and done. I don't have time for that. I just don't feel like it, right? And so, until then, I'm focused on, being the one, right? And I knew a big part of that for me, for the type of woman that I want a woman that's abundant, and, that we can build a life together, a family together. I want to, be in a good financial place, and or for us to be able to build a good financial place together, right? And so that's what I focused on, right? I focused on building the skills to pay the bills, right? There's a lot of people out here that are complaining about women, blah, blah, blah. They want this, they want that. It don't matter what they want. It don't matter what women want. Same thing with men, or with women. It don't matter what men want. What do you want? I'm sounding like Notebook on the Notebook. What do you want? What do you want? Okay? What do you want emotionally? What do you want spiritually? What do you want physically from a relationship? What do you want financially from the relationship? What do you want then, okay, once you, and this goes into what I was talking about in the last podcast, where definiteness of purpose. Once you know what you want, what you're looking for, then focus on becoming the one for that person. Because if you're not a match, then what's you doing? You may attract this person that has all these characteristics that you want, and if you haven't been working on yourself to become a match to that person, then y'all ain't gonna be a match. You're gonna be you want somebody that's emotionally, say you want somebody that's emotionally available. You want somebody that loves you, that outwardly expresses how much they love you and care about you, that's want to take care of you and provide and all this other stuff, right? You want to have a healthy relationship and all this stuff. If you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, and if you haven't practiced having a healthy relationship with other people, right? This other thing, that this might be the next podcast, about how, self-love is the new narcissism, right? Because everybody's talking about, oh, this is what I want. I want this. I want that. I want that, right? I'm loving myself, right? But if you want to have a good, loving relationship with other people, you have to learn how to have a good, loving relationship with other people. You have to learn how to be loving to other people, right? So if you haven't learned how to be loving with other people and non-manipulative and not trying to control people and force them into whatever you want them to do, right? Then you might mess around and meet a healthy person, meet a person that checks all your boxes, and you still trying to play these old games that you was playing with toxic people that you don't even want anymore. Now you've become the person that you don't want, and then the person that you do want you're faced with the person that you do want, and you trying to play these same games as if they're the person that you don't want. And you're not prepared, and you fool around and miss that opportunity, right? And everybody wants to believe that they are the perfect person in a relationship. They missing out. They missing out on me. They gonna miss me. That's everybody believes that in their mind, that's them. Nobody wants to believe that, they're toxic or they're manipulative and that they're scheming and scamming and snaking, right? So just make sure you're not that person, right? Be the one and allow the one that you want to come to you and become a match, right? Focus on being a match. Focus on what are the things that I need to heal, right? So that when this person does come, it could be healthy. How can I be healthy so we could be healthy, right? And that's me, was focusing on my financial health. Now I'm focusing more on my physical health, right? For the big majority of my awakening, I was focused on my spiritual health and my emotional health, right? Mental toughness and spiritual toughness, becoming a spiritual warrior. And then, all that also was studying financials. And now I'm getting more into my physical body, right? Taking care of my physical body, get my sexy back. You feel me? Get my basketball arms back. Okay? So that's all I got to say. Shout out to Kehlani and Kiara Russel. We up 20 points. Basketball studs, masculine women. We're up 20,000 points. We winning 2023.